Wait for the plane.
To strafe.
Eid.
But Eid. Go ahead. Lay it on me.
Oh, here we go. Serious question. No. When you guys were growing up here and playing here, and during the 60s, did you think you were going to be stars? Did you want to be a star? Was that what it was all about?
The one thing I never wanted to be and still don't is a star. I think that's too much of a burden. I like my privacy. I like to be able to walk along the boardwalk and get a hot dog and be left alone. And I never thought we would make even records. First time we got the offer to make an album, I thought, let's do this real quick. We got it done in 2 weeks because I didn't think they were going to follow through. I thought they'd finally stop us. Make my comments in here. See, that's why I'll never be a star. But I thought they weren't going to let us finish making the album, and when it was done and it came out and did well, I thought, well, that's it. They'll never let us make another one. I mean, it was just a fluke. And then 9 albums later, I still feel that way. I still feel like each thing I do, I'm lucky to get a chance to do it. And I don't mean that in a smarmy way, but there's a lot of competition out there and a lot of people who would love to be in my shoes, love to be a star. I just want to sing. I just want to make music. I want to have the opportunity to go and travel all over the world and do that stuff. Don't want to be rich. Don't want to have my name in lights or be on the cover of magazines or anything like that. I just like to play. When I was growing up, I never thought I'd get a chance to even do that. So everything's been a lark to me since then. A lot of hard times, but nothing I couldn't handle.
What do you think that same sort of mentality holds true for kids who are starting out today, John? Or do you think?
I think that the bands that are just starting today have a lot more pressure on them. There's a lot more media attention to a new band. Everybody wants to be the next big thing. A lot more money being made than when I started out, so there's a lot more sharks in the water. And a lot of bands are injured by that in the sense that they don't have a chance to grow. They go from being a garage band and having 3 rehearsals to making their first album and doing the world tour and retiring from show business all in the same month. And that doesn't give much chance for musical growth. And I don't envy bands that are starting up today. We got lucky, very lucky, all of us, Bruce, Steven, and I, in the late 60s and early 70s, we lived in an area where there was a lot of improvisation, there was no pressure on anybody to be anything, and you could make the music you wanted to make, the way you wanted to make it, without somebody saying, well, if you just did this, you'd make $1 million. No one ever said that. We never thought we'd do anything. I never did anything.
How important and or detrimental do you think video is to music?
And or? Is that a slash?
Or if you think it's detrimental. Do you think it's important or detrimental? What do you think video is doing to music today, to kids who are just starting out?
I think video's taking some of the emphasis away from music, and I don't like that. But it also has given a lot of people a chance to be seen, like Huey Lewis and Stevie Ray Vaughan, certainly, the Stray Cats. Who else can I say? Dire Straits. All these groups are good musicians, and they make good music, and they wouldn't get the recognition, I think, without some of the great videos they've made. However, it does get stultifying after a while. Everybody tries to copy the video before instead of the record before. It's easier to copy an image than it is to make an oral image.
Let's move.
Speed.
Let's talk about...
Yeah. I can't answer that question. That's very personal. Damn. Come on, get it together. It's a professional outfit here.
This is professional. We are... Okay, here we go. Let's talk about a couple of the other guys that you used to play with down here, Bruce and Steven.
Bruce and Steven, Steve Van Zandt and Bruce Springsteen. Bruce from Freehold, Steve is from Middletown. Those are 2 towns up above Asbury Park. One's west, Freehold's west, Middletown's up above. And they had bands, and I had a band in the 60s. I can't remember the names of all the bands. There's so many of them. And we more or less got together at the Upstage Club and played in a lot of bands together. We had one band called Dr. Zoom and the Sonic Boom, which was every musician we knew, and some we didn't know on stage at the same time, along with a Monopoly game, baton twirlers, a choir, an announcer, an MC. I don't know what the difference is, but we had both. It was just a good time back then. It was, as I say, there was no pressure, and everybody learned how to play. Learned how to play in different bands, learned how to play different musics, but mostly learned how to play in front of an audience. And fortunately, that's what we all became good at. It's the only way we could make any money.
When you first met Bruce, did you hit it off right away? Did you?
Yeah, the first time I remember walking into the Upstage Club around 1 o'clock in the morning, and there was this guy with real long hair and a gold Les Paul guitar singing a song about the nuns teaching him about blues or something like that. And he said he went to Catholic school, and one day at Show and Tell or something like that, one of the nuns brought in a B.B. King record, and it changed his whole life. And that was Bruce, and sat down and talked after that and got along very well. He's a pretty straightforward, honest guy, and he knows what he's talking about. And as far as Steven, it's the same thing. I walked in, and there was Stevie Van Zandt playing downstairs with Gary Talent and Big Bobby Williams on drums, and we hit it off right away too. We both went out with the same girl for a while, as a matter of fact.
And your friendship survived even that?
Yeah, well, the girl didn't survive, but we did.
Why has Bruce become so big, John, do you think?
I think Bruce Springsteen really is perceived as what he is, a gifted, honest, exciting musician. A lot of charisma, but he also puts out everything he's got on every record, every show. I mean, he just finished in a monumental tour for a year and a half, 4 hours a night, a lot of work, and I think people appreciate that. There's no jive with Bruce. He says what he wants to say. He says it in language that they understand, but still better than they say it themselves, if you know what I mean. There is an art to his plain speak. And I think it's just his time. He's the most exciting rock and roller on the scene, has been for years, a good 10 years, and it's finally paid off. I mean, not that he wasn't big before, but now he's the biggest guy in rock and roll. I think deservedly so. He's obviously the Chuck Berry of his time.
What impact do you think Bruce's success has had on this area and New Jersey in general?
I was just inside, we're in Asbury Park here, and I was just inside at the peanut counter at the beautiful convention center here, what do we call it, convention hall. And the old guy that runs the peanut place and one of his old cronies were there, and they were railing about how the city council does not give Bruce Springsteen enough respect and it's too late coming. Well, when you get the older, not old, but you know, the more stratified people of a city council yelling at each other over Bruce Springsteen, I think that's an indication of the impact he's had. Asbury Park has seen a lot better days, and I think they're appreciative of the fact that at least one of the native sons here in New Jersey has made something of himself that they can't do anything to, and I like that. I think all rock and rollers take a lot of strength from the fact that somebody made something of himself and has been able to thwart authority, especially the repressive authority here in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
How has Bruce's success, I mean, what sort of impact do you think it's having on new musicians and the type of music that we'll see coming out of New Jersey in the future?
For musicians in New Jersey, especially rock and roll musicians, Bruce Springsteen is the colossus that strides New Jersey, obviously. A lot of people like him, love him, and don't mind emulating him, taking things from him, taking cues, stylistic things, ideas. But there is a group of upcoming musicians who don't want to be associated with Bruce Springsteen. His influence is so all-pervasive in New Jersey, and I think that a lot of groups would do anything not to be perceived as being influenced by Bruce. And that's as it should be. I think that people need to react to the people that have gone before or the people who are very influential during their time, whether pro or con. So I think Bruce is going to be the cutting edge of rock and roll in New Jersey for quite a few years. Some people are going to take from him, and some people are going to try to get away from him. And I couldn't ask for a better representative. He's the best there is.
How was it working with Steven?
Steve Van Zandt and I, little Steven, put together the Jukes back in, I guess, 1974, and we had a great relationship for a number of years. Then he went on the road with Bruce and went on to make albums with Bruce and Gary S. Bonds and his own albums. He's a great guy to work with. He's very demanding, and he wants everything to sound the way he wants it to sound. He knows I am not a visionary type person. I am very much I react to the things that happen. I'm spontaneous. Steven likes to get things exactly the way he likes them, and Bruce does the same thing. And they're great. It's great to work with people like that, people that are not like me, because it teaches me more discipline. But neither of them has ever lost their enthusiasm or their excitement. When they get up to play, or even during rehearsal, they're having a great time, and you can always feed off of that energy. So Steven and Bruce have been a great help to me. Anytime I feel like I'm bogging down. I just think of them or whatever, and I realize that they never lost their enthusiasm, and I can't lose mine either.